Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. The most priceless commodity of the desert is water. Of course, all animals require moisture to survive.
The prickly pear cactus is both food and moisture for him, since he rarely drinks water.
Considering that a family of 4 uses an average of this much water a day,
God
was so provocative in its choice of imagery, notably from American news, weather, ads, and celebrity. I really appreciated how the film chose certain lines spoken by famous people that showed either conscience or ignorance, especially around racism, the environment, and guns. The editing, fading of imagery, and sound design are brilliant. It makes a strong argument for awareness without having to actually argue anything directly.
So much talent went into this film, and the editing and the creativity behind it. I loved it so much. I love the use of all types of footage from so many different time periods. I don't even know how they got all of this footage, but I think that it's just amazing to see them all put together like this. I appreciated the fact that all of this footage was focused on one area of the United States, and that was the Great Basin. Just seeing how many things happened here, how the media has represented it over time, and just the storytelling involved in this film. I loved the flow of this editing. It really worked to tell the story of the Great Basin over time, and what it represents to so many things and people and history. I appreciated that a lot. I love the continuous motifs in this film. We saw Elvis pop up a few times. We saw the same footage pop up in different moments, or the same cartoon. So I appreciated that. I loved that we kept seeing the same things, much like any live action film or something like that. But it was the editing that really stood out for me.
I found it interesting how the short is a message about the environment and climate change, but more so how this is conveyed through a compilation of archival footage, movie clips, news articles, and so on and so much more. This is actually quite unique, and I can't say that I've seen anything like it. I like how the clips are used through their audio and visuals to tell a cohesive story. It's very easy to follow the through line of the narrative and what the topic is about.
So we have a collection of various audio clips, sort of this collage of audio and video clips. Some are environmental in nature, some are pulled from films and news, and we see how it shifts from various environmental issues, whether it's flooding to drought to too little water to too much water. And the visuals are the connecting tissue in this piece. They are all coming from so many various sources. Some are environmental landscapes. Some of them are, footage from that. Some of them are clips from commercials or clips from award shows or clips from cartoons or clips from films. All put together, sort of this visual and audio collage to create this clear message about the state of the environment. So I thought it was very clever conceptually how they were able to edit all of this together and to give a clear message, but also a message that sort of fluctuated and flowed from one idea to the next.
A compelling intro where the filmmaker explores the theme of drought in the American Southwest. Fabulous concept in telling of the story with 60s and 70s pop culture of America, little bits and pieces. I love that the filmmaker included Marlon Brando, who back in the 70s seemed to be a little bit extreme or overreactive, but it turns out now was more of a visionary for our environment. Everything was so well thought out and chosen in this collage. There was a voiceover of somebody saying, "Where were you when your husband died?" And it seems to be somewhat of an analogy of humanity and its neglect of our American soil and environment.
We see in this film the killing of all sorts of nature,
dead dry land and American Indians and Native Americans being pushed out from their homes, including climate rising. Something that Hollywood has been aware of and using it to their advantage to spread awareness and mock the country for all they've been doing for a long time. It's kind of sad and ironic how long the film industry has been producing forms of entertainment that hold these deeply subliminal rooted messages, and still there hasn't been much change. Apart from the message, I think there's this sensory overload from the sounds of each and every one of the clips, especially when they're edited to be repeated over several times, or they're completely opposite sounding of the clip that came before it. For example, you hear nature sounds, and then you hear a narrator or spokesperson through a speaker. A lot of these videos we see are comedic with a serious undertone. I think the comedy part is what drags us in and entertains us to stay along for the whole video. But the serious part is what we take by the end of watching it and what makes us really think and ask questions in our heads, and if it's right what we're doing in the United States, and if we should just be nurturing our motherland. The last point I want to make is that media can sometimes have a negative effect on our society as a whole and the way we think and act. Not all of it is good, sometimes full of propaganda and marketing campaigns to manipulate and skew our judgment.